Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Double Chen News.
Welcome to the first episode of Double Chen News. This is the inaugural news piece. I feel like we are at a huge event in the world, at least in our lives.
That's crazy. That's some build-up, man.
I mean,
Thanks for putting the expectations way high up there.
You're so glass empty right now, Mike.
No, I'm just trying to set the bar low, so we can only go up.
See, I'm not. I like to set the bar high so we know what we're striving for.
Oh my god. So in this video, everybody rides Uber, right? You know what Uber is. We both ride Uber a lot.
I actually rode an Uber the other day, and then I saw this article, and I became paranoid.
Yeah.
And basically, what it is Uber drivers are allegedly scamming their...
Some Uber drivers.
Some Uber drivers have been allegedly scamming their own customers. And the way they do it is they charge the customers an additional $200 for a cleaning fee.
Yeah.
And what they do is they take photos of the, for example, vomit or the mess that they made, and then that's the proof, basically.
Well, the mess that they say the customers made.
So if you guys ride Uber, you know, you get a receipt of what your ride costs, right? So then all of a sudden the next day they get another receipt that says you have been charged, and it's not like we're gonna charge you, it's like the money's taken from your account, and it's the amount of $200. So they're like, you've been charged $200 for basically messing up this, driver's car,
vomiting in a cab.
Yeah.
In the Uber.
And I'm sure they can see the proof that they've taken. So imagine, like, how would you feel if you're like, if you got slapped with this and you didn't do this?
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that these people, the reason why this is news is that they are saying they didn't do this.
Right.
But what these drivers are proving or are providing is they're providing so-called proof that they did do this. So take a look at these pictures. This is like vomit that the drivers said came from the customers, but the customers said, well, we didn't do it.
Right. So one of these customers, she was in Brooklyn, and she basically was like, wait a minute. She started picking apart the photographic evidence. She's like, first of all, this is in the front seat. I was in the back seat. Like, what? Do I have projectile vomit? I mean, this is clearly like on the front, passenger side on the dash.
Yeah.
So she's like, first of all, I didn't do this, and here's X reasons why. And there was no photo of her doing it. There's no, like, I mean, they could
just
basically...
the floor.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, send her, I guess, rebuttal in. And then Uber, the company, has been known to, they do an internal investigation. And if they find that it's not true, they'll refund you the $200.
Right.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, this is a lot of trouble for you. If you didn't do this, you have to actually, like, send in all this rebuttal. They take time to look at it. So it's a lot of time out of your day. And a lot of people, they probably just are like,
well, the key thing is, how can you ever trust this company again if this happened to you?
This is really the key.
You're like, you're done. I mean, you're fighting over $200 and you're like, this is just, it's not worth it.
Well, I have a few things that I think should happen. Okay, I think that if Uber looks into it and they find that the driver has defrauded the customer, I think that person needs to be, like, obviously fired, and it needs to, like, go on their rideshare record, so they shouldn't drive for Lyft or any other companies, because they're basically scammers.
Right.
Like, you're no different than actual people that are stealing money from you, right? So cut them. So they need to have a system where this person is identified, he loses his cab license, he can't drive it.
A lot of opinions on both sides about whether this is actually a thing.
Right.
Like there's when this particular writer, Meredith Mendel is her name, she filed this complaint. She looked into it and she said there was another person who the same thing happened, and this person found that the photo that the Uber driver used as evidence was from like some other event.
Like in a year ago. 2 years ago, 2014.
Right, 2014.
Yeah.
And then but Uber drivers are saying, well, why would we do all this stuff for $200 measly? We could just work a few more hours.
Right.
But I'm thinking, $200, that's not a small amount of money.
No, that's not a small amount of money.
If I could just make $200 just by share some photos.
Well, this is the other issue, right? Uber is a growing company, so they might not have the staff right now to be like combing through evidence and being like the adjudicators of like, oh, did you do it or not? They're probably just like, oh, here's the evidence, take the money. And it's almost like this thing where leave it up to the driver to defend themselves, right? So I think Uber should have much stricter policies. Like if you're a driver and your car got messed up, yeah, the person should pay for it, but you should submit evidence where it's like maybe the person's like face or something. And also, like, this is easily provable because they all have cameras in the car. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
they could just install cameras in the car.
No, they have cameras in the
Not
car.
all. Obviously.
Most of the cabs say like this vehicle
Uh-huh.
is under
Yeah,
surveillance,
put,
right?
I mean, that's just common sense, I think.
You shouldn't just be able to submit a photo of like baby food that I'm just saying like if this is fake, you probably took some.
Well,
baby
let me
food
ask
put
you:
on there.
does this story kind of stray you away from?
Of course. Uber strays me from Uber, and not just story, because you don't just see this, but you see like people getting hurt, people getting beaten up. Like you see a lot of crazy stuff with Uber these days, and this is just adding to the fuel.
I mean, I love Uber, and I don't think. You know what? I'm still gonna ride Uber because mainly I just ride it to the airport and
Right.
back. So I'm not like riding it at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
but you could be the next victim.
I
of-
could.
Like
I could.
I literally, the Uber I took the other day was $19, just like this girl. And I
But
could
was
have
it
done
at
it.
1 o'clock in the morning?
No, it wasn't 1 o'clock in the morning.
For her, I mean, it's more. They were like, oh, it's 1 o'clock
yeah.
in the morning. What do you?
They have a little more-
What do you take an Uber at like 4 p.m.?
I
I
know.
like throw up in an Uber at 4 p.m.
This drunk Asian
Yeah,
guy is in
it's
my
just-
Uber at
it's just
4
like,
p.m. rush hour. Like,
Came out of Koreatown.
highly
just-
believable. But I'm just saying, I read this and I'm like, I could have been this girl. Like the next.
No,
so
you could not. How could you be that girl? First of all, you don't drink.
Yeah.
Secondly,
I'm-
like we talked about, you took Uber at like 4 p.m.
Dude, I'm paranoid. I'm paranoid now. I'm telling you, like, and this is gonna keep happening, and here's why. Because Uber, the company, whatever's going on, I'm not gonna be like an Uber expert, but we know there's some stuff going on right now. Prices are dropping. Drivers have been striking in different parts of the country. Drivers are mad. So when you get disgruntled drivers, this is what happens, and that's what worries me. Because this is the first thing.
What does that worry you? It's not a global.
It worries me
pandemic.
that they're gonna find ways to scam money out of my
You ride
own
Uber
pocket.
once a month. Why does it worry you?
It's called Murphy's Law, bro. I could,
It worries me.
there's a
my-
small chance, and I could be the next victim.
My
of-
water could be tainted the
Yeah.
next day by Uber.
I could be the next victim of the vomit scam.
Yeah,
I don't want to be.
Yeah, by
you're
you
not
riding
worried-
Uber once a month.
You're not worried at all. You
I
take it
ride
quite
it once
often,
a month. I ride it when I go to the airport.
which
and
you
back.
go a lot.
Yeah, but that's it. I go. I don't go at 1 o'clock in the morning.
So you feel like this can't happen to me.
Yeah,
you're
I
like
don't-
that guy.
Yeah, it can't happen. All right, guys. Well, let us know your opinion on this topic. We'll have the link to the articles in the description box. Please subscribe to our new channel.
Yeah, let us know if you've actually been scammed or try to be scammed by Uber. Let us know if you actually, though, have like thrown up in an Uber.
I'll tell
what
you, when I was
happened.
at college,
Yeah.
one of my fraternity brothers threw up like behind me. Like I was driving, he was in the backseat.
Oh,
He
man.
projectile vomited behind me. It was the most.
onto
Like-
this way, like the vomit was coming
Like-
over your head,
Luckily, the hit stop blocked
Yeah.
a lot of it.
but you got
but
some like
It was,
here.
it was definitely a transcendent experience in the negative way.
Can I tell you? I've thrown up in a vehicle before, and the vehicle was a small plane going over the Grand Canyon, and I just threw up into
That's
my
nasty.
seat, and there's nowhere to throw up.
Yeah, that's-
The window's not open. You're like,
Well, I hope you guys
10,000
aren't
feet.
eating right now. That's just
And
horrible.
it like got all over my
Let's
pants.
not talk about this anymore. Happened to me.
Well, I'm like the guy that says it can happen to me.
Well,
Why-
you know
why
what else
not
can
me?
happen to you?
What?
You could get struck by lightning 7 times. Happened to this guy. You know what? Could it happen to you?
I think the chances of getting scammed by Uber is way greater than me getting struck by lightning 7 times or even 1 time, bro.
I'm just saying, every year, so many people get struck by lightning, right? How many stories have you heard about this Uber scam
Well,
so
apparently
far?
a lot
2
now.
in 2 years.
It's gonna keep coming up.
Oh man.
It's gonna keep coming up.